Joseph Murphy dedicated decades to teaching that material wealth is not happenstance, but the result of the dominant vibration that a person establishes in their consciousness. When Murphy analyzed families that went through constant economic limitations, he noticed a revealing and worrying pattern. These families carried, without recognizing it, an energetic atmosphere of insufficiency that maintained itself through successive generations, like a skipping track playing permanently the same melody of insufficiency. Murphy referred to this pattern as vibrational heritage. He discovered that each family group possesses a vibrational pattern related to money, a pattern that is transmitted through actions, silent beliefs and emotional responses regarding monetary limitations. This inherited vibration acts like a veiled instruction, dictating not solely what amount a person can gather, but also their essential bond with wealth. Murphy realized that several of the monetary impediments that he detected were not born from deficiency or misfortune, but merely in the received pattern that any individual incorporated from birth. This epiphany radically transformed the way that Murphy faced financial transformation. Instead of teaching just ways to conquer wealth or investment systems, Murphy directed himself towards something essential, modifying the vibrational energy regarding money that any person assimilated from their family. Murphy reported extraordinary stories of individuals who managed to overcome this inherited vibration by means of specific procedures of cognitive reworking. One of these examples addressed an executive known as Roberto, whose ancestors traversed a persistent cycle of bankruptcy that prolonged itself through generations. His progenitor had lost everything he possessed in a calamitous investment. His father figure had faced unsuccessful initiatives, and Roberto, albeit laboring in an obsessive way, perceived himself replicating this identical sabotaging pattern. Each time he succeeded to amass a significant sum of fortune, an event occurred in an inexplicable way and the subject experienced the loss of everything. It appeared that there existed an invisible force hindering his conscious efforts. Murphy worked with Roberto for months, showing him an essential truth that would represent the core in all his philosophy. The deep mind does not differentiate between money you deserve and money your lineage believes it deserves. If within you inhabits the vibration that money brings risk, that evolving economically is dangerous, that monetary stability is deceptive or a hoax, then your subconscious mind will strive constantly to keep you in this frequency because it appears to be the absolute truth. The subconscious mind does not critically analyze. It merely executes the instructions that were installed in your being through family experience. Roberto finally understood that he was not indolent or inept. He was conditioned, and mental patterns can be deconditioned. Murphy explained that when you transform the dominant vibration in your mind, you change the command that you send to your unconscious. It resembles restoring a device that was running with outdated software, which is unfavorable. If the software stays established, prepared to absorb uniquely a particular amount of capital, then that is exactly what you will receive, apart from how much sacrifice you make. Murphy showed this truth via deep visualization techniques that he had instituted through years. He directed his clients to expend 5 to 10 minutes every morning, ideally as soon as waking up when the consciousness remains in an alpha state of openness, conjuring the image of not solely the entry of patrimony in their living, but essentially the internal living of stability, genuine confidence and recognition of merit that comes along with this manifestation. Murphy proclaimed without any doubt that this internal experience formed the real key. It was not the wealth alone that had importance for the transformation. It was the resonance that the being formed in relation to money. With Roberto, Murphy started a process that he designated Ancestral Vibrational Transmutation, a method that he had refined through numerous cases of success. Roberto would need to, for 60 days, commit a quarter of an hour daily at night before sleep, in deep meditation. In this sacred space, Roberto should identify in a conscious way the complete financial path of his lineage. He should imagine his grandfather going through the economic disaster, his parent facing bankrupt businesses, and all this ancestral lineage who came in his lineage carrying like patterns. Then, mentally, Roberto should enunciate with true emotion, "I accept your history. I tribute with admiration your suffering. I admire the trajectory you tread and the difficulties you faced. However now, in this sacred moment, I let go of this resonance of scarcity from my being. I establish a new resonance for my ancestors. From this moment on in my life, movement of wealth. Wealth and financial certainty represent the central pattern that rules my paths and my reality. Murphy observed meticulously that when Roberto did this with genuine sincerity, with true emotional feeling that involved his whole being, something extraordinary began to happen in the external world. Roberto's financial situations began to reorganize subtly but surely. An opportunity that Roberto would have previously rejected out of fear or mistrust came to be seen under a new illuminated perspective. An old client returned with a substantial project. An unexpected scholarship for his daughter appeared at the exact moment when her education was a financial concern. None of this was coincidence, Murphy explained with conviction. It was simply the natural and inevitable consequence of an altered vibration. When you change your internal vibration, the entire universe needs to reorganize itself to correspond to this new frequency you have established. People, opportunities, resources, everything begins to align differently in your life. Murphy created a law that he designated Law of Vibrational Correspondence, a law that he had tested in hundreds of experiences. This principle states simply that the exterior environment always corresponds precisely to the dominant psyche. If inside you there exists with deep fear of lack of resources, then the external circumstances will present constantly experiences that reinforce this dread and sustain your limiting thought. If in your interior you resonate genuine security in your inherent prosperity, then the surrounding environment will present openings that strengthen and cultivate this tranquility. The most transformative trait of this law is that it operates apart from your present position or your antecedents. An individual totally indebted who transforms their predominant frequency to abundance will start, in a few weeks, to observe subtle alterations that are visible. These transformations tend to be subtle at the beginning, but are indicators of a real transformation. An unforeseen cost is bypassed inasmuch as you choose to reject making an automatic purchase. An opening appears because you remained in better mental disposition to interact with someone important. Your whole body starts to pulse in a new pattern. Murphy had a special interest in the family aspect of this transformation because he had observed an extraordinary phenomenon repeatedly. When a person changes their vibration and manages to maintain this change for a sufficient period, the entire family dynamic begins to reorganize deeply. Children who were struggling financially begin to prosper unexpectedly. Parents who faced chronic difficulties find new solutions and paths. It is as if this person, by raising their own vibration, pulled the entire lineage to a new vibrational level. Murphy explained this as a principle of family resonance. When a musical instrument begins to vibrate at a specific frequency, all other nearby instruments naturally begin to vibrate at the same frequency, even without physical contact. Likewise, when you establish a vibration of prosperity within you, all those energetically linked to you naturally begin to enter into resonance with this elevated frequency you created. To create this vibrational transformation that was stable and transforming, Murphy instituted a system organized in 3 steps that he viewed as totally necessary for victory. The first stage is the process Murphy referred to conscious ancestral recognition, and he stated that it was impractical to proceed without fulfilling genuinely this first step. In this stage, you must spend time truly understanding the total economic journey of your family. This does not constitute inculpating your progenitors or rejecting them with negative energy. It implies simply viewing with perfect clarity what they lived, the deep wounds that they experienced, the formattings that they established as a survival strategy in periods of difficulty. Murphy noted that many individuals strive to avoid seeing this uncomfortable narrative, tried to act as if it was not there, and this prejudiced irremediably the true transformation. It continues being truly impossible to let go of what you avoid consciously, to recognize. Murphy guided his students to initiate this simple method, which is life-changing. In the night period, by preference before sleeping when the psyche is more permeable, install yourself in complete silence. Inhale and exhale with depth for some moments, and internally contemplate deeply on your ancestors. Visualize the figures of your ancestors. Identify the obstacles that they endured. Express in your mind with sincerity a declaration like, "I accept that you, my progenitor, passed traumatic losses that produce deep dread in your core. I accept that you, the one who begot me, instituted survival patterns that were transmitted successively through generations." Murphy explained that this recognition is deeply healing on a spiritual and psychological level. By recognizing the story, you take this story out of the unconscious, where it operates silently controlling your actions, and bring it to the full light of consciousness. In this clear light, it loses the power to control you automatically. It ceases to be something that controls you like a puppet and becomes something you see with absolute clarity and can choose to transform. Murphy used to say with emphasis that nothing that remains unconscious can be truly transformed. Everything that is brought to consciousness can be worked on, can be dissolved, can be rewritten in a completely different way. This first stage should be practiced for at least 2 weeks every day with genuine emotion and complete attention. The second stage of Murphy's method is what he called declared vibrational disconnection, and he was absolutely clear about its critical importance. In this stage, after consciously recognizing the ancestral story, you must declare with authority that this vibration of limitation will no longer be the dominant force of your life. Murphy was not in favor of a vague or intellectual approach in this stage. He demanded genuine emotion, clear intention, and deep commitment, not just to the words but to real transformation. After recognition, still in your moment of silence at night, Murphy instructed his clients to place their hand over their heart and say with unshakable emotional firmness, "I completely release the vibration of scarcity that was inherited through generations. I unlink my conscious mind from every pattern of financial limitation that belonged to my ancestors. I allow my soul to be the genuine and true origin of my prosperity and abundance. From this moment, the dominant vibration I establish and maintain is that of conscious abundance, genuine confidence, and unlimited flow." Murphy clarified that this affirmation works since it creates a new force in your being. You do not find yourself repudiating your lineage or your narrative. You are merely exercising your legitimate right as a conscious creature who is self-determined to select a new resonance. Murphy had witnessed countless cases validated where this proclamation, when done with genuine emotional sincerity, engendered a vibrational rupture so powerful and radical that visible changes commenced in days following. He possessed recorded situations where beings communicated vibrant dreams and exceptional dreams moments after the affirmation. Dreams during which their predecessors showed themselves to recognize this alteration with quiet approval and energetic consent. Notwithstanding Murphy showed himself a rigorous scholar who was thorough in his general approach, he accepted that there remained phenomena that transcended merely physical logic and rational logic. The third stage is the one Murphy considered absolutely the heart and soul of the entire vibrational transformation. He called it continuous vibrational re-establishment, and it was in this stage that the real work of rewriting your financial reality happened. In this stage, you not only dissolve the old problematic vibration, but actively establish a new vibration that becomes your dominant pattern. Murphy was extremely specific and precise about how to do this to achieve real results. After the declaration of disconnection, still in their deep and receptive meditative state, Murphy instructed his clients to visualize a field of golden, luminous, and living energy completely enveloping their heart, radiating to their entire body. This field is not vague or abstract. It is real, intensely felt in the body, palpable like a transforming physical presence. Murphy frequently asked his clients to describe in precise detail how this golden field felt in their physical body. Some described gentle and comforting heat. Others described deep and enveloping safety. Still others described an extraordinary sensation of expansion and freedom. While he kept this sensitive manifestation and experienced, Murphy instructed with determination, "Say mentally with total certainty, my dominant vibration now establishes itself as abundant consciousness. My physical being vibrates integrally with financial security. My hidden psyche remains fully reconditioned to receive generously, to earn completely, and to sustain indefinitely abundance. My field remains aligned entirely with opening, endless circulation, and infinite elevation. The lack that was inherited eclipsed itself fully eternally. The abundance that forms my innate spiritual right consolidates itself presently as the permanent reality of my being. Murphy emphasized absolutely that these sentences must be uttered not superficially out of habit or lightly, but with real intensity of feeling, with truth that springs from the chest, as if you were declaring the most important truth and primordial of your entire existence. Murphy observed that this third stage is exactly where most people faced significant difficulties in the process. They managed to do the first two stages with some success, but in the third stage, the rational mind began to doubt and question. How can I say I am prosperous if I have significant debts? How can I say my vibration is abundance if my bank account tells another story of limitation? How can I declare what only my current reality denies? Murphy had a clear and transformative answer for this. He explained that the rational mind does not govern true reality. Vibration governs reality. The rational mind is merely a tool that describes retroactively what vibration has already created. If you want to change what the rational mind describes, you must first change the vibration at the root. Murphy used a potent and transformative metaphor. He said that vibration is like the root of a tree, and visible financial results are like the branches, leaves, and flowers. If you only look at the visible branches and try to change the tree by pruning the branches, you will never achieve real or lasting change. But if you change the fundamental root, the whole tree changes inevitably. Murphy recommended that this terminal stage be executed every day, without failures, for a minimum period of 40 days in a row. He had determined the duration of 40 days since he had noticed in multiple cases that it was precisely the necessary time for a new vibration to install itself definitively as the predominant vibration in the deep nucleus of the deep being. The first 14 days relate to establishment and fixation of the new frequency. The new frequency still seems tenuous and temporary. It still struggles aggressively with the primitive molds that seek to remain. Between days 15 and 28, something deeply modifies and emancipates itself. The new vibration commences gradually to gain real strength, to live more organic and authentic, truer to your deep being. During days 29 until 40, the renewed energy finally firms itself as the predominant vibration that governs your choices. Ended 40 days of permanent realization and sincere effort, Murphy stated that his clients told an emotional evolution so substantial that it was observable even to uninvolved people. The dread that immobilizes concerning money reduced considerably until dissipating. The remorse of growing financially and obtaining dissolved itself integrally. A security which was serene, radical, and firm in the economic destiny initiated to sprout fluidly from your interior. Murphy had a particular and very effective method to help his clients maintain absolute consistency during these critical 40 days. He recommended they keep a simple and honest journal. Each night, after completing the full ritual of the 3 stages, they should briefly note what they felt and observed, not for heavy intellectual analysis, but simply to deepen the experience and root it. Murphy observed that when people recorded their experience in words, the practice became more concrete, more real, more irrefutable. He also recommended that during these 40 days of transformation, people be particularly attentive to the small signs of change that appeared. A small but significant opportunity that arose unexpectedly. An unexpected expense that was providentially avoided. A casual conversation with someone that led to an interesting and unexpected possibility. Murphy taught that vibrational change does not typically begin with spectacular and dramatic results. It begins, always, with small synchronicities indicating that vibration is genuinely changing at the deepest level. Murphy emphasized an essential component that various neglected totally during their implementation. During these 40 days of disciplined realization, the tangible behaviors equally carry fundamental importance. The vibrational pattern prepares the necessary foundation. Nevertheless, you still need to have the valor to act. If an opening manifests in your path, you require to possess the valor to explore it honestly. If an idea surges relative to how to multiply your revenue or to expand your revenue flows, you need to find yourself prepared to execute it with conviction. Murphy termed this aligned action, and it showed itself fundamentally vital. It is the movement that flowers organically when your resonance has modified to abundance. This attitude remains being radically distinct from the desperate action founded in dread. It is movement that is secure, sharp, spontaneous, and precise. Murphy stated that as those who sought him sustained the appropriate frequency and behaved regularly in synchronization with this frequency, the opportunities surged in manners that before seemed absolutely impossible or close to miracle. The trajectory that the Professor Murphy presented was substantially a journey of genuine emancipation and radical. It did not form escape from true obstacles. It represented confronting the real situation that you saw yourself as programmed by transmitted ancestral resonance and opting in a conscious way, and with conviction to modify this vibrational pattern fully. It represented accepting that you possess extraordinary power, not simply to change your own journey, but to transform the entire trajectory and coming destiny of your entire lineage. This comprehension constitutes genuine power in its purest expression. Not that force merely to conquer or to subjugate enemies, however, the genuine power to transcend, to modify vibration, to supersede old limitations. This knowledge, Murphy professed with unbreakable conviction, signifies the authentic liberation which is monetary and divine that every soul yearns for.